Fellow parents, how are you doing? Martin here with my traditional school holiday check-in. That's right, and I'm gonna ask you the same question I ask you every school holiday. How's it going? How is it going? We've just had now the first half term of the new school year. And I know it's different for everybody depending on the age of the children and all this kind of stuff. You know, if they're younger, then, they may have just started school or just gone from reception to year one. I've got a nephew that's done that. Really exciting. For some of you, they might have moved up a key stage. So, it just goes, the difficulty, what they're covering goes up a little bit. Maybe some of you, they're going into their final year in a school, in like year 6. Big year. Maybe they've changed schools, and that can be pretty stressful. That can be pretty anxiety inducing. Can be tricky. Could also be really, really exciting. For some of you, your children may have had a lot of tests, because depending on the year that they're in, this first term tends to be a lot of tests to just see and assess where they're at. So again, that can be pretty stressful, being tested day in, day out. For some of you, maybe they're going into that next level, maybe going into GCSEs like my youngest is. Again, a big step up, less subjects, but now more focused, and there's a little bit more being asked of them, right? It's a different experience. So I get it. My children, they're growing up. One's going into GCSEs and one has left school. So I've kind of been through all of this. So I get it. And it depends on, where we're at. But how is it going? If you remember what I've talked about before, it's just about setting an intention of being actively involved in your children's life, their day-to-day life. In the busyness of life and what we're trying to do with work and juggling everything else, sometimes that can be tricky. But if we can be deliberate and intentional about it, then we can at least strive towards that. So I encourage you, as I do in each of the holidays, to reflect on the half term that's just gone, and then we'll also look towards the next half term coming. But let's just reflect in the first instance. What's gone well? What are the good things? What have you been involved in? I mean, this is the autumn season, and I'm sure those of you with younger children, the Harvest Festival would have happened by now. Oh my goodness. The Harvest Festival was my favourite. Of all the different events that they did through the year, the Harvest Festival was just the best. I loved all the songs. Jingle Jangle Scarecrow with his flippy floppy hat and all that kind of stuff. I loved it. So I really hope you made time to be a part of that, because it's just, you remember it. So how's it been? And we talk about these things about the school run in the morning. We talk about picking them up after school. We talk about being actively involved in their homework. We talked about obviously things like parents' evenings and events. And then the knock-on effect of that, being home to have a family meal, be there to read them a bedtime story, sing them a song, whatever it is, depending on how old they are. Be involved after school, after work. How's all that stuff going? And I'm not saying you're trying to do it all, but those things that you wanted to be more involved in, how has it gone? Celebrate the stuff that's gone well, and don't beat yourselves up if some things haven't quite worked out the way you wanted. Maybe you haven't quite got home early enough to have the meal with the table and be not involved in homeworks, but it's something that we can work on. Maybe you wanted to do that 3 times a week, and it's been like once a week because work's been crazy and it just kind of took over. But now is a really good time just to reset, reflect, and go, right, what's my intention going forward? This is a skill in life, in business, in any area of life, where let's just reflect, readjust, and then plan to go forward. It's how we can improve things. So have a little reflection on how it's gone this last half term. And I hope there's been some great highlights. I hope your children are just rocking it. even those with a wobbly start, I've known plenty of children that have had wobbly starts, but then they're really going for it now, and they're doing really well, and we should all be so proud of them. So that's the reflection part. Brilliant. And then what we want to do is we want to go, right, okay, this next half term, how do I want to maintain some of those things that have been going well, and anything that I wanted to kind of improve on? Right, how am I going to do that? Set the intention to do that. Now, I want to have a quick conversation about this half term coming up, because it is a big one. It is a big one. Now, I know we're in October right now. As I record this, I know it's Halloween. But let's just talk about Christmas, because the next one I do of this will be several days before Christmas. And if we haven't covered this, you're going to miss it. So this next half term is really important. And I've not described it like this before, but hopefully this will help. You see, there is the academic life, so your children's academic life. There is then normal family life, and then there is normal business life, professional life, okay? Well, in this quarter coming up, in this next 2 months, in December specifically, academic stuff, and it depends on how young your children, the younger they are, the more they get involved. There's going to be stuff going on, Christmassy stuff. They're going to be making stuff. Oh, it's going to be amazing, right? And they're going to be getting all of that Christmassy stuff going, and their excitement, their emotions going to be raising, right? More than it usually does, because the big man's coming. So yes, school is normal, but on top of school as normal, we get the Christmas thing, and that raises the bar. Now then there's family life, and of course with Christmas, then depending again the schools and what's going on, nativity plays, carol concerts, and then you've got family life. The normal family life continues, but there's then Christmas. We're then making room for the nativity plays, the carol concerts, maybe going ice skating with the family, maybe going to the Christmas markets, doing the Christmas shopping, picking out the Christmas tree, decorating the house inside and out, cozying up with your hot chocolate and your warm woolly socks, all watching Mickey's Christmas Carol. Whatever it is, there are these additional things on top of normal life. I know I'm teaching you to suck eggs, and I know it's October, but there's all of this extra stuff that happens and that we have to navigate and find time for. And on top of that, we've got work. And work can get crazy in December, because all of a sudden we think we've got to dot every I, cross every T, and get anything we ever thought we would get done in the entire year. We suddenly try to ram it and get it done before Christmas, as if there was no time after Christmas to get any of this stuff done. Anyone felt like that? All of this comes from personal experience. Those 20 years in the financial services industry, in corporate, the run up to Christmas, just crazy, just driving it home, working harder and longer, because that's the only strategy we have, which just means working longer hours. And we've got year-end performance reviews that, okay, it may not be until January when you do the review, but you're trying to get all the evidence, which is what's, you know, that stress, that overwhelm, that anxiety, that push, that's where that's coming from. You're trying to get your annual computer-based training out the way. Contractors are going out of the business after what, week one? Is it week one nowadays? Certainly was when I was back in the corporate, which means you're trying to get all the work out of them before they go, and then they go, and then you're still left holding all the work and the projects. For a lot of you, and I was that, day-to-day busy work life was crazy anyway. You go sticking all these other things in at Christmas, and it just elevates the pressure, the expectation. And what happens? Well, we start missing things. So those things in the family, those things with your children, there'll be things where you consciously, deliberately say, no, I'm too busy. I got to do this. I'd love to, but. Or you will go to these things. You will do these things. And no pun intended, you won't be present. Because you'll be too busy thinking about the 97 things that you're trying to do all at the same time, all by Christmas. Does this ring a bell? And again, I know it's October. I know it's Halloween season. And I wish you the most spooktacular Halloween. But we need to think about this now. Because this is when we prepare for that. Otherwise, what will happen, which may have happened to you year on year, like it did with me, you'll get to the second week of December and go, oh my God, I can't believe it's the second week of December. You've already missed some stuff. You're already behind on some stuff. And you're wondering how the hell you're going to get it all done and be involved in stuff. And the stuff you are involved in, you're not present. Absolutely not. You're just like stressed out of your head, trying to get it all done, missing things, missing the build-up. Contrary to what some people believe, Christmas is not one day. Christmas Day is one day, but Christmas is a season. And if you just step back and allow it, it can be magical. But it is so easy to miss it. And this comes from somebody who had so many Christmases compromised because of work. Because I drove myself into the ground. Because I worked all the hours trying to dot every I, cross every T. And Christmas is my favourite time of year. And it was compromised year after year after year. And I can tell you now, can I remember the incredibly important, critical projects that required me to sacrifice my health, my time, my family, my Christmas? Can I remember what they were? No. But can I remember the sacrifice? Can I remember not being present for the build-up? Can I remember getting to Christmas Day and feeling absolutely dreadful, absolutely exhausted, not making it to Christmas dinner, my favourite meal of the entire year? Yes, you can have all the elements any time of year, but to do it on Christmas Day with the crackers and the tablecloth and the whole family and the music going in the background and it's Christmas Day is special. Not even getting the Christmas dinner because I made myself so ill, not because I picked something up, because I had just driven myself into the ground. Getting to Christmas afternoon, literally mid-conversation and falling asleep. Do I remember the work that made that possible? No. Do I remember those moments? Yeah. And do I have to live with those years later? Yeah. Do I try and make up for that now? Yeah. So this is why we talk about it now, not in December. Yeah, we can work some magic in December, but you don't want to wait until December because we can prepare for all of those things. We know all of that is coming. We can get things in the diary now, the stuff that we already know about, and maybe it's school stuff, get it in the diary. If it's not already there, ask about it. The stuff that's going to be in the family diary, get it booked in. Block out the time now, non-negotiable, before all the craziness. And in terms of work, get your head in the game and go, right, I need a different strategy. I need a different approach. If I don't want to have the same Christmas as I did last year and the year before that and the year before that, if this is something you've been experiencing, or if you can tell right now that this might be, because of this conversation, this might be where you're heading, right, what do I need to do differently? And that doesn't mean you try and dot every I and cross every T now. That's the whole point. It's not about that. It's not about doing 97 things. It's about doing the right things at the right time for the right reasons in the right way. And if you need support, who can help you, who can support you. And I'll spoiler alert, there's something coming from me that's going to help specifically with this. And if you can't wait for that, just reach out, DM me, comment. I'm here to help with this kind of stuff because I'm passionate about this stuff anyway, but this whole Christmas thing, it's so special. Because let me ask you this. How many Christmases do we get in a lifetime? What, 80 or 85 if we're lucky? Some more, some less. But how many Christmases do we get with our children when they're at that really young, magical age? How many of those? And if you've already sacked off 1, 2, 3 Christmases and you're looking at this one thinking this is probably going to go the same, can you afford to sack off 3 or 4 Christmases when that magic, it doesn't last? I know it's a cliche and people to tell you, make the most of it. This time is precious, and it is, because they grow up fast. You don't want to miss it for stuff that isn't going to matter. The stuff you ain't going to remember, but you'll remember it if you sacrifice. Sacrifice your health, sacrifice your family, sacrifice your Christmas. And if your children are a little bit older, how many years do we get them under the same roof when they're living with us? Yeah, okay, in the future when they move away and they have their own families, they may still come to visit on Christmas Day, but when they're still under the same roof and you can create that magic no matter what age they're at, how many of those have we got? How many of those have you got left? This is what I wanted to talk to you about. And yes, I'll say it again. I know it's October. I know we're in Halloween season. But if you want to avoid what I've just described, if you want to turn that round so that you're actually present for the Christmas build-up and you can enjoy it as a family, be involved in their academic life, be involved in family life, whilst also getting the right stuff done at work, and then doing it in a way so that come Christmas Day, you've got the energy to really enjoy it, have a break afterwards and really enjoy that, and go into the Christmas and go into the new year with that kind of positive momentum. If you want to do that, we got to think about that now. And we've got this break when we can think about that and make a plan and get support and figure out what we can do differently and figure out what goes in the diary right now. Welcome to half term. I wish you and your family a spooktacular Halloween. Have a blast. Our house is all decorated to the hilt. We're going to have a lot of fun. I hope you have a lot of fun. Stay safe out there doing the trick-or-treating. And just take a little bit of time to reflect on the half term that's just gone and prepare for the half term to come. And then you can enjoy Christmas as much as you might enjoy Halloween. Wishing you a great October half term. If you need me, if you've got any questions or queries about anything I've just covered, please just reach out. Direct message me if you don't want to comment, or comment if that's all right. I'm here to help, here to support. And we're going to go into the most magical time of year after this. So let's make it the most magical time of the year for you, your family, whilst also getting done what needs to be done at work. Have a great half term, have a great Halloween, and I'll check in again with you real soon.